Hi. That was unnecessarily loud. First of all, I must apologize. I am sick, and I'm also cat sitting, which is why the mic sounds different. Thank you, Apple ecosystem. Secondly, thank you so much for the enormous amount of support and engagement on the Need for Speed Theories video. As of this recording, it's at over 8,000 views, which for a brand new channel is great. Thank you. Anyway, Midnight Club. As it turns out, there was going to be a fifth Midnight Club game, and it was originally supposed to take place in London. But due to internal conflicts between Rockstar Studios, it was cancelled. Basically, in no uncertain terms, a person who worked on the game back in the day, I forget their name, I'll put the article outlining the story on the screen for you to see. Basically, there was supposed to be another Midnight Club game after Los Angeles that came out in 2008, but it was cancelled because of conflicting interests. And the studio working on the game was told, this will never be GTA. It's just a throwaway title. And I'm paraphrasing here. It's just a throwaway, smaller IP. It'll never be Grand Theft Auto. Understandably, the community is upset about this because we could have gotten another Midnight Club game, but Rockstar, probably Take-Two Interactive as well. I don't know if they owned a Rockstar at this time, but they wanted to chase money, and they also wanted to focus, which is a lot more understandable, focus development on Grand Theft Auto 5, which was still in development during that time as well. Why is this important? Because Midnight Club was a very different take on the arcade racing game formula. First of all, the accuracy of its locations was fantastic, and it brought in a lot of stuff into the genre that other competitors at the time had not attempted yet. So in Midnight Club 3, for example, when licensed cars became a thing in the game, whereas Need for Speed Underground 2 stuck almost entirely to tuner culture and imports, Midnight Club introduced lowriders, classic muscle cars, motorcycles, SUVs, and so on and so forth. Did you know Midnight Club 3, I forgot luxury sedans. Midnight Club 3 is, to this day, one of the only racing games to have a licensed version of the Volkswagen Phaeton. That's pretty cool. And the GMC Yukon and other stuff that we would only see in Midnight Club games at the time. It also brought in some other stuff like extreme arcade physics, which were kind of spun off from things that Rockstar North, back then Angel Studios, had learned from the Midtown Madness games. Another thing they brought in from Midtown Madness is insane traffic density, the kinds of which we haven't seen even today. I don't know of any other racing game that has gotten close to Midnight Club's traffic density. Maybe, actually no, the new Need for Speed games can't hold a candle to it. The traffic density in Midnight Club is one of the most interesting aspects of it. It's one of the things that makes it a very authentic arcade racing experience. But it also led to a lot of frustrations for me, which is part of the reason why you're not seeing gameplay of actual driving on the screen, because you're just going to see a lot of crashing. And frankly, I don't think anyone should just watch somebody constantly crash. I think a certain amount of skill should be on display, and I don't have that skill right now. Also, again, really arcadey physics, like super arcadey, the cars had these weird weight transfer sort of tricks and different things like that. Customization was excellent, a whole bunch of licensed parts, even more than Need for Speed, because Need for Speed at the time was not bothering with actual licensed aero customization like bumpers and spoilers, whereas Midnight Club actually took that to a whole new level, and some customization stuff was not available in the Need for Speed games that Midnight Club actually had, like license plates, and in the case of Los Angeles, interior customization. And in my opinion, the most notable aspect of the Midnight Club games, the unordered races. What that means is you have a finish line and a starting line, but how you get to the finish line is entirely up to you. There's no track barriers, there's no checkpoints, there's nothing. Well, there are technically checkpoints, but the arrows on them spin 360 degrees constantly. If you've played one of the games, you'll know what I'm talking about. You have to figure out the fastest route to the finish line. And it took over 15 years for another racing game to copy this. The Crew Motorfest recently introduced something similar in one of the recent live service updates. So Midnight Club was one of the most unique racing games in the genre, arcade racing games in the genre. And it was around during a time when you actually had options in the world of arcade racing games. You had a ton of different options, including a lot of different Need for Speed competitors and knockoffs, let's be real. And understandably, the news about Midnight Club being cancelled when there was a fifth game in development is very disappointing. Do I think it's disappointing? Yes, obviously. It's always cool to have more arcade racing games than just the big three, or as of recently, the big two, until Clutch comes out. But on the other hand, I can kind of see why. Not that they were able to, not that they could have predicted this at the time, but Grand Theft Auto 5 went on to become one of the best-selling entertainment products in all of history. And I'm not even going to get into GTA 6, you already know how that's going. And really, this isn't as bad as it may seem, because I haven't seen any of the other videos talking about this. I don't know if anyone has gone into detail about this, but from what I know, from what I've seen, and from what you know, all of this stuff that sort of became a thing with Midnight Club, at least part of the car culture aspects of Midnight Club, were slowly added into Grand Theft Auto Online as part of content updates. We got a whole bunch of different vehicles from all different segments and eras of time, and we got a bunch of customization-related updates from Benny's to the more recent ones that I don't know the names of. So basically, Rockstar decided that all of its franchises, the ones that don't exist anymore anyway, would sort of fuse together and be a part of Grand Theft Auto Online, and that extends to Midnight Club as well. I personally don't play Grand Theft Auto Online, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of you who are really invested in Grand Theft Auto Online know that this is indeed a possibility. You can base your whole experience, most of the experience, around the car culture aspect, except for the part where you have to be a criminal and pull off heists, but that comes with the territory of Grand Theft Auto Online. If you play the game, you'll know what I mean. So, yes, Midnight Club was cancelled, and it's, frankly, with GTA 6 especially, it is very unlikely that we'll see another Midnight Club at any time in the future. Maybe in 20 years, I don't know when GTA runs its course. If that ever happens, I'm kidding, obviously, that's not going to happen, but maybe in 20 years' time we'll see another game from Rockstar called Midnight Club that'll be a racing game. But, again, we have the consolation prize that there's a lot of car culture aspects in Grand Theft Auto Online now. So, it's, as I said, a consolation prize. But also, do I think that we'll see a Midnight Club style racing game in the future? Yes. I didn't even mean for that voice crack to be so high. What the hell? Yes, I do believe that we will see a Midnight Club style racing game in the future. It will not be made by Rockstar, and it certainly won't be called Midnight Club, but it will have some of those elements that Midnight Club brought to the table. So the expansive different types of car culture, and the unordered races, and the huge traffic density. And also, one thing that I forgot to mention earlier is its highly accurate depiction of real-world locations. This doesn't really extend to the old games, but from what I know, one of the most praised aspects of Midnight Club LA was its realistic depiction of LA and South Central, which was added in an expansion pack later on. So, yes, I do think that we will see another Midnight Club game in the future, or at least a game like Midnight Club, but there is a possibility that it will not have the same scope. Because Midnight Club, if you want to make a Midnight Club game exactly like the old games, especially Los Angeles, with all of the licenses and all of the music and all of the extremely accurate depictions of Los Angeles, that's going to cost a shit ton of money. So, if a racing game studio or a studio in the future decides to incorporate some of the highlights of Midnight Club that don't cost quite as much money to develop into a new game, and it's kind of like a spiritual successor type of thing, then yes, I can totally see that happening. And especially now because there's no more Need for Speed. Yay. As I said in my video about Need for Speed, the dance is now open, and I think we're going to see a lot more AAA arcade racing games in the future now that they have less competition to face, and that applies here as well. And that's about it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think of this whole Midnight Club thing, including the thing I talked about, in the comments below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.